Very superstitious.
Good evening, kind sir. My name is Fidel, and I will be your waiter for the night. Today's special is the famous novel The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn by Mark Twain. Enjoy.
Superstition. Is it delusional nonsense or credible rationale? In Mark Twain's novel, The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn, he uses various examples of superstition. Why? Let's take a look.
Pretty soon, a spider went crawling up my shoulder, and I flipped it off, and it lit in the candle. I didn't need anybody telling me that it was an awful bad sign and would fetch me some bad luck.
How's everything going, sir?
Well, I have a question regarding this past scene.
Your many-course meal has just begun. Chapter 1 introduces the first major example of superstition in the novel. Huck Finn, the protagonist, attributes a nondescript encounter with a spider to be a sign of bad luck.
And is this foreshadowing?
The reader, still new to Twain's conventions, perceives this to be an element of foreshadowing. However, all it is Twain's characterization of Huck's irrational being. The superstition scene with the spider sets the stage, presenting a comical tone that is prevalent throughout much of the novel.
Interesting.
At this chapter state in the novel, Twain's attitude on superstition parallels the plot in the book. Chapter 1 exists solely as exposition to set up what will occur later in the novel.
I was going to follow around, but I stooped to look down at the tracks first. I didn't notice anything, but next I did. There was a cross and a left boot heel, big nails to keep off the devil.
Daddy!
How's everything this fine evening?
Who are you?
I'm Bob, with the silent X. Fidel is a little bit busy right now. You seem puzzled. Let me help you.
Please.
Now that the plot has been established, major events start to unfold. After seeing this mark, Huck confronts both Judge Thatcher and Jim to prepare for the appearance of his father. For the first time in the novel, Huck's superstitious beliefs are given credence to by the preceding events. At the end of the chapter, Pap is introduced, and the reader's initial conceptions about him are correct. He is not a nice man. Pap's arrival marks a shift from simply mentioning superstitions to examining their effects on a character's actions and the plot as a whole.
So how does superstition and pop relate to the whole novel? Is everything alright here?
Oh, I was just explaining Henry some topics about...
How does superstition relate to pop and the rest of the novel?
Superstition has a larger impact than you first thought. Huck's experience with superstition will shape how he acts as the novel proceeds. The true nature of Twain's inner working of superstition in the novel is starting to take shape. With the introduction of Pap, a man of superstition himself, Twain illustrates that the trait runs in the Finn family. Furthermore, Twain describes Pap as a religious man who fears the devil. This is the root of Pap's superstition.
Helpful indeed.
I think I'm gonna place this dead rattlesnake at the foot of Jim's blanket to give him a scare. Not him.
Huck!
What is it, Jim?
Skin the body and give me a piece of it. I reckon if I eat it, you'll kill me. Take the rattles and tie them around my wrist.
All right, Jim.
I reckon the people in that house over there stole the goat. Because they didn't know the money was there. They won't left it. Can't talk about him being killed. That's bad luck.
Now, you think it's bad luck, but what did you say the day before yesterday when I fetched that snakeskin off the ridge? You said it was the worst luck in the world to touch that snakeskin with my hands. Well, here's your bad luck. We've raked in all this truck and $8. Besides, I wish we could have some bad luck every day, Jim.
Help!
As a manager of this establishment, I can do just that. Ah, the classic snakeskin superstition. This superstition is first seen when Huck and Jim are alone on Jackson's Island. However, throughout the novel, as Huck and Jim experience poor luck, they too always reference the snakeskin, blaming their misfortune on this superstition. On the raft, Huck and Jim are unable to find Cairo, and Huck says, "I wish I'd never seen that snakeskin." Jim, "I wish I'd never laid eyes on it." This superstition acts as a form of repetition throughout the novel, serving to advance the plot. As opposed to the first scene in the novel with the spider, in which the tone is comical, the tone presented with the snakeskin is more serious. Huck does not take Jim seriously, and his failure to realize the consequences of carrying around a snakeskin results in a venomous bite.
Thank you. Well, it appears I have overstayed my welcome. I should be leaving now. Could I please have my check?
Of course.
No way. Are you famous literary critic Henry Nash Smith?
Yes, I am.
We are huge fans of you and The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn. Wait, hold on. We really like this novel and we'd love to discuss it with you. Would that be okay?
Yes, let's discuss.
Alright. Well, it's evident throughout the novel that superstition plays a major role in Huck and Jim's actions. Would you agree?
I do.
Well, what would you say about Huck's characterization as a result of these superstitions? I mean, Huck experiences a journey in which he matures. As a 14-year-old, he constantly plays jokes on Jim, but his consciousness eventually grows, and this guilt is revealed. And this guilt changes as Huck and his views on other characters, mainly Jim, also changes. But what does this initial superstition come from? How does superstition affect his initial characterization?
Good question. Huck is a very young protagonist. Darker aspects of Huck's inner life are projected into the natural setting in the form of ghosts, omens, portents of disaster. This is the body of superstition that is so conspicuous in Huck's and Jim's world. Remember the scene at the end of the chapter where Huck sits alone by the window? The scene where he flicks the spider into the candle?
Yeah.
Huck's fear and cold shivers suggest a burden of guilt and anxiety that is perhaps the punishment he inflicts on himself for defying the Moors of St. Petersburg. Wherever the source of these sinister images, they develop the characterization of Huck beyond the needs of the plot. The narrator, whose stream of consciousness is recorded here, is much more than the innocent protagonist of the pastoral idyll of the raft. More than an ignorant boy who resists being civilized. Huck's burden not only adds to his constant fear of superstition, but foreshadows that Huck and Jim's quest will end in failure.
Why, Henry, you've answered my questions. Twain's characterization of Huck's irrational being makes perfect sense. It's a result of the past. Huck's guilt serves to explain the superstitions he experiences throughout the plot of the novel. The constant battle between Huck's conscience and views of society results in reliance on superstition for the duration of his journey. Twain forces Huck to deal with the burden in a way that a 14-year-old child might. Young and naive, Huck is not yet mature enough to logically interpret his situation.
Well, you're a critic yourself. I'm glad you've come to an understanding. The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn has truly been an interesting and enlightening novel.
There is superstition.